Okay. Are we
Blah,
ready?
blah, blah.
Yeah.
All right. I'll just go along, guide us through, and you guys jump in whenever you want, and we can just do stuff. Hi, guys. Welcome to Better Than You Remember. I'm Mike Moliterno. Be sure to, if you're watching us on YouTube or any of these other places, you can also find our podcast on Spotify. We're also up on Apple and on Google Play. What is it? Google something?
Google Podcasts.
Google Podcasts. Yeah, you can find us at all of those places. Wherever you can find your favorite podcast, we're there. Like Tom Joad.
Just search for Better Than You Remember. We
Yeah.
should be there.
Excellent. All right. So today we're doing one of my sort of favorite movies, but it's a classic movie. Whenever someone asks me about an underrated movie or a movie that they've never heard of to watch, I go for The Chase, the 1994 classic starring Charlie Sheen and Kristy Swanson. I think this is a perfect movie to do for Better Than You Remember. Basically, it is the definition of Better Than You Remember. However, with one slight little tidbit, I don't think a lot of people have actually ever heard of this movie. Whenever I talk to people about this movie, the reaction is either, it's usually, I have no idea what you're talking about. I've never heard of that movie. If they have heard of it, they love it. And then we immediately start talking about how come nobody else knows about this movie. So, Maggie, you had seen this movie before we did this rewatch for the podcast.
Right. I saw it. I saw it like years and years ago when I was like 6. And then I watched it again forever. Like, cause I didn't watch the whole thing because my parents like kicked me out of the room, but at the age of 6.
I know what part that happened.
Yeah. So, years later in like middle school and high school, I got to watch it. And I love it. I think it's great. And I'm sad that it's like kind of flown under the radar and nobody really knows about it.
And Steve, you saw this for the first time for this podcast.
Yeah, I'm one of the people that hasn't seen it before and had no idea what you were talking about.
You had never even heard of it.
Never.
Okay. Well, what were
Because this was 1994, so I wouldn't have been watching this as a kid, but
Yeah.
Unless your parents were watching it and they kicked you out of the room.
right, and that didn't happen.
But you've seen other movies from the 90s,
Sure.
But this just, you never even knew about this.
Yeah, it just, again, like Maggie said, it flew under the radar.
What did you think when you watched it? What was your first reaction?
You guys really hyped it up, and I always get a little like iffy on like when everyone just starts saying you must watch this, it's the best movie ever. Not that you guys went that far, but this was a good movie, and I wasn't disappointed with all the hype that you guys put behind it, because you guys had me watch the trailer, and just after seeing a trailer, it was maybe 3 minutes, I was already sold. I loved every character that I saw in that trailer, and I couldn't wait to go see the actual movie. I think I watched it that night. I was so hyped for it.
I'm glad you liked it. It's not the greatest movie ever.
No,
It certainly isn't. But
for
for what it is, it's like perfect.
I don't know what happened in 1994 for it to fly under the radar like it did, but I couldn't see. I would have seen it in the theaters had I been the appropriate age to watch it.
Yeah. It apparently did okay for its time, but again, it was just sort of relatively unknown, but I'm not sure exactly why. So it stars Charlie Sheen and Kristy Swanson, who both were kind of in their prime. So Charlie Sheen, he's making like 6 movies a year at this point. So before this, the year before, he makes Loaded Weapon, which is a Lethal Weapon parody movie, which isn't very good. But he also made Beyond the Law, Hot Shots Part 2, which is awesome. So is the original Hot Shots, Deadfall, and The Three Musketeers, which was basically sort of capitalizing on the success of Robin Hood a year or two before that, which is basically, and that was a huge movie, Three Musketeers. So then the following movie, this year, the same year, 1994, he's also in Major League 2.
Wow.
Which was an anticipated comedy, and Terminal Velocity, which was kind of a big deal. Kristy Swanson is totally on the upswing here. Before this, she is in Hot Shots, the first one, and then Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then she makes this and sort of just disappears after this. I'm not sure why.
Yeah, I don't know what she's been. I think I looked her up on IMDb, and she's like been doing like a whole bunch of TV shows, like just appearing in one episode, like Criminal Minds and Law and Order and stuff like that.
Right. She was in Higher Learning and The Phantom shortly after this. And then she just sort of, goes into that sort of purgatory where she's just on one episode of CSI or something until 2011 when she stars in the awesome TV movie Swamp Shark.
Wow.
But I don't know what happened to Kristy Swanson. She should have been a huge star, I would have thought.
Well, Kristy, if you're listening or watching, we'd love to have you on the show.
Yeah,
I personally would love to have you on the show.
Steve would love to. Yeah, he would love to hear all about what you've been doing for the last 30 years.
Tell us everything. This was actually, I guess, the third movie that Charlie Sheen and her were in together.
Yeah.
Because they were in Ferris Bueller's Day Off together, which I didn't know she was in that.
She's in it for like 10 seconds. She's whenever the teacher is doing the roll call and he's looking for Ferris, she's the girl that speaks up and says, "Look, I heard from so and so that Ferris passed out at the thing or whatever."
Oh,
that's her. She looks almost totally different because that's almost, I want to say that's a good 6 years before this.
Right.
This is 94. That came out, I think, mid 80s. So it's almost close to 10 years prior. But yeah. So anyway, a little bit about the movie. So it comes out in 1994. It's directed by Adam Rifkin, also written by Adam Rifkin, who the only other thing I even know by him is Detroit Rock City, which wasn't a bad movie.
Oh, I love that movie.
Right? That wasn't bad.
That was good. It was all right.
It makes $7.9 million on a budget that Rifkin says is something like just a few $1,000,000. So it makes money, but that's not that great.
Well, I mean, you got to figure it doesn't cost that much to make because mostly it's just like car sets.
Yeah. This movie, more than any other, this movie was Fury Road before Fury Road. Like,
what?
Dead serious. You talk about Fury Road with people and you tell them, you got to see this movie. Like pretty much the entire thing is a car chase. This movie, the entire thing is a car chase.
It is.
You're in the car within 5 minutes and you don't get out of the car until like the last 30 seconds of the movie or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while,
doesn't have all the craziness of Valhalla and I get what you mean.
It's not
though.
as
Car
insane,
chase.
but it's a car chase. Yeah. Even more than Fury Road, this is just a movie that takes place during a car chase.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The two characters are in the car 98% of the movie.
Yeah.
Which is weird because I would also consider this movie like a romantic comedy.
What is like this movie?
I would say romantic comedy.
What was it called? I think it's called
/
Stockholm Syndrome.
Action.
That's what happens.
Stockholm Syndrome.
She's like this brat, stuck up, rich girl, and then all of a sudden there's a point where she's like, "No, I believe you, Jack." And then they hold hands, and then it gets a little hot and heavy from there. But she starts, sympathizing with Charlie Sheen.
Well, okay, just real quickly, just in case somebody doesn't know. So just briefly, this is a movie about Jackson Hammond, who is Charlie Sheen, who has been wrongfully convicted of a crime, escapes, and he's trying to get away, and he accidentally kidnaps Natalie Voss, who is played by Kristy Swanson, and she happens to be the daughter of a fictional super rich dude.
Dalton Voss.
Yeah, so he is trying to get to Mexico to get away from the police, and the police and the media are all chasing him, and that's the movie.
And this is a big deal because Dalton Voss in the story is California's Donald Trump.
That's
he's super rich.
Yeah.
He was fantastic, anyway. Believe me.
Right.
Believe me.
I want to go. I wouldn't mind it if the California Donald Trump was president. Dalton Voss might be a good president. You know what I mean? But anyway, I wanted to get back to what is this movie? Because it kind of is a romantic comedy. It sort of might just be a comedy. It's a chase movie for sure, but I think primarily it's a satire movie.
Yes, it's poking fun at multiple things in society at the time and even today.
And
Right.
for those of us who work in the media, I
Yeah.
know when I was watching it, some of the jokes and some of the things hit a little close to home. Like I
Yeah.
could see myself getting that assignment.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean?
Hanging onto the side of a van, just tell us what.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can we get a word? Can we have a 3 minutes with, please?
Just I especially love everyone trying to get the exclusive, and the one guy, their exclusives start to get more and more adjectives tacked onto them. Because I remember the one guy is talking about, we are bringing you the first ever live on the ground shot of the car chase. And then it's literally, here they come. You know,
Yeah.
they're like, there it was, hey?
Yep,
what about,
we
we're
got
the
it.
first people to do that.
It's all about the ratings. We got to
Yeah.
beat the other news outlet.
Oh man.
Oh, but some of that hit
Yeah.
a little bit close to home.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, just all the assumptions that people are
They kept
making.
building
Like,
this story.
oh, he's some sort of mastermind.
Yeah.
He knows he's a sharpshooter and something like that.
Well, I think one of the things it does well is it literally shows how bad the media is, or anyone for that matter, not just the media, at assessing a situation that is rapidly changing and you have very little information.
Right.
One of the things that was nice about the old kind of newspaper cycle was something would happen and then you could go back, check everything, investigate it, find out what was true and what wasn't, and then write it and put it out the next day. Whereas now with 24/7 news and all of that, those people are just guessing. They're
On the
just
scene, speculating.
And it's just masses of just a ton of disinformation. And
Anchorman 2 also did that. If you remember, they were doing a high-speed car chase. And
well, they stole it from the chase.
Oh,
yeah. Ron Burgundy's just at the desk. He's just like making stuff up. And his, stage producer's like, yeah, just keep going.
Actually, that part of the movie, I think, that aspect of the movie holds up quite well. For a movie that is so much about media and how much media has changed even since 1994, it holds up incredibly well. They could have made this movie today and really didn't have to change anything. Add a little bit of social media stuff in there. And other than that, it's dead on.
Yeah.
But in a way, I think it's pretty prophetic also. I had always assumed this movie was made sort of in response to the circus around OJ, especially the Bronco chase.
Right.
It came out before that.
Yeah. It was like 3 months before that happened.
Yeah. It's almost like I can't believe that this movie comes out 3 months later. This movie came out, I think, in March. And then, and then OJ happened in June.
Yeah.
I think that's just so crazy.
I bet he watched the movie and that's why it didn't get so much play, because there's a chase with OJ. That's why.
Sure.
Yeah. Everybody was no.
So now another thing that I always notice when I watch this movie is I always forget who is in it. There's really only two main characters. Everyone else is just sort of circling it. They're cops. They're in the media, or they're somehow related to the two people. But you've got the police chief, who is Wayne Grace, who is in Mulholland Drive and Far and Away and Volcano. You've got the two cops who are making the cops show, Henry Rollins, who's obviously the musician, and
The Rollins band.
And you've got the other one is Josh Mostel, who is the revolting blob from Billy Madison, and he's in a ton of other stuff. The reporter who's hanging on the helicopter is Rocky Carroll from Crimson Tide and tons of TV, including the 90s show Rock, which I used to love when I was a kid. Dalton Voss is played by Ray Weiss, who's in every single TV series ever. The attorney is Marshall Bell, who you're going to be like, who is that? He's the dude that has the tummy baby in Total Recall. Wade or not Wade. Guato. Yeah. He's also in Starship Troopers. Flea and Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers are in it. Carrie Ells from Princess Bride.
Right.
And Robin Hood Men in Tights is in it for like 10 seconds. So is Ron Jeremy as
he's
just a cameraman.
Yeah.
Ron Jeremy's a camera guy.
I was like, was that Ron Jeremy? Oh my gosh. Like, obviously when I was younger, I didn't know who Ron Jeremy was. And now,
Yeah,
now
sure,
I watch it
Maggie.
and I'm like, what?
And then your
But
parents
now
kicked you
you
out of the
do.
room.
Right.
Yes, and then my parents kicked me out of the room.
But yeah.
Is that Ron Jeremy? Get out.
That reminds us, we were going to watch something. Get out of the room, Maggie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, there's not that many characters, a lot of side characters, but every single side character, as soon as you see them, you go, who is that person? And they're in like 10 movies, just these tiny little parts, which I think is fascinating. So let's talk about the movie. I think maybe we'll kind of break it down into the sections. So we've got the car, the cops, the media, and then sort of the public or the community around them. So we'll start with the car. Our two characters are in the car almost immediately.
And the way they got there was because of the worst gas station attendant ever.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That dude is like driving me nuts.
Everything that happened was a result of his stupidity.
Yeah.
He couldn't get the coins out of the coin holder.
Uh-huh.
He couldn't. How long does it take a person to ring up a candy bar and $5 on pump 5 or whatever it was?
Takes him
If you rewatch that scene, it's him just like beep 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 beep.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Even Charlie Sheen is like, all right, I'm growing a beard over here. Let's go.
Right.
Right.
It could have been like you could have had the cops figure everything out without that guy needing to take 10 minutes to ring up a pack of cigarettes.
Sure, but it absolutely did not help.
Well, it kind of helps when Charlie Sheen's just kind of like keep the change, and then the cops are like, "Hey, wait a second."
Well, if he didn't take so long rigging him up, he might have been out the door before the cops could even see the license plate or the car,
Right.
at least, you know.
Yeah.
Before the radio call even came in over the little speaker.
But props to Charlie Sheen for thinking quickly about using that candy bar as a
Yeah.
weapon.
Butterfinger.
That was
Delicious.
genius.
Yeah.
Shout out to Butterfinger.
Uh-huh. Product placement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent
And
product
then
placement.
that gas station attendant ruins things more with the whole gun
Yeah.
That
That guy's
debacle.
an idiot. Yeah. It's just one of those people that is so oblivious to how much you're inconveniencing the rest of the world. You know what I mean? They're those
Right.
people that you're about to strangle them and they're just sitting there smiling, joking in your face, just totally unaware that death is staring them right in the face. Like, in 30 seconds, I'm going to murder you. And just, what a day,
What?
isn't it? How about that weather? Shut up. I'm going to kill you. Ring me out.
Yeah.
So they're in the car.
Mhm.
Obviously, Natalie is terrified, burns Jack with a cigarette lighter. And then
Mhm.
over the course of the movie, they come to understand each other and even fall in love. Maggie, you're as a woman, since you're the female here on the pod,
Right.
what are the odds that you would ever fall in love with a person who kidnapped you over the course of, I don't know, whatever it is, a couple hours in that car?
And keep in mind, he's handsome.
Could that, yes.
He was
okay,
wrongly
that's fine.
accused.
Which one thing, Charlie Sheen was 28 when this movie was made. And I didn't
Right.
realize that he looks so much older. He like always looks the same age.
Yeah, he
Like he's
does.
looked the same age for like 50 years.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't think it's very likely at all. Like, I really like falling in love with somebody who just kidnapped me. And it's got to be like, what, maybe 6 hours, 8 hours. How long does a tank of gas last? Because they never ran out.
No.
Yeah, but I really don't think that's plausible. But who knows?
That aspect of the movie always makes me think that it's probably much more appealing to young men or teenage boys, because you kind of could see yourself as this sort of screw up. And of course, Natalie Voss is going to fall in love with me. But I just
The
don't
richest girl in all of LA.
Yeah. I don't think so. There's just no way
No.
that happens.
I mean, it's a nice fantasy, and
Yeah.
it's romantic and nice. And when they sing "Macho Man" in the car, that's totally cute. That's definitely a turning point where
He
the
always
love
liked the
is
cowboy.
starting. Yeah.
They have the worst dialogue in the entire movie, though. They have I think they actually do a pretty good job considering they have the most ridiculous, unbelievable part of the story to carry.
Yeah.
Everything going on around them is satire. So the more ridiculous it sounds, the better.
Yeah.
And then they keep cutting into the car and they have to be like, so how did you get arrested? Oh, I've always had a troubled relationship with my father. And you just go, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
Like,
well, it's all like,
what else are you
going to
do in the car? I mean, except just talk about randomness.
It's thanks to the old school car phone that any of that stuff comes up. Because like the father calls the car phone and then there's a strained relationship between her and her father. Charlie, that's your window. Like, talk to this guy and tell him like, you're crazy and you shouldn't be talking to your daughter like that.
There's the chink in her armor, Charlie.
There
Go for it.
Go, dude.
Strike.
Live for all of us.
Yeah.
I just got to tell you, Charlie Sheen's character is the most unfortunate situation like ever. Like, you're a freaking kid's clown, a party clown, and you just get picked up for a bank robbery. Like, that's got to be like, I'm sure there are clowns that love it, but I think he didn't love that job. So no. I would say that's probably like the worst job. And then you got framed for a bank robbery just because you had a clown costume in your car. And then you go to jail for it. You go to prison. Like,
it's getting like 20 years or something.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time for a bank robbery. I mean,
well, the Red-Nosed Bandit. Come on, it's a serious crime here.
I think his lawyer is probably just terrible. Like, they don't put innocent people in jail. So he probably thought he didn't have to try at all. So
you got to work the system.
And that's the other thing is there's got to be more to the case than just, well, this guy also has a clown outfit. Like, lots of people have clown outfits. I got to think, even besides the blood type or whatever, there's got to be another way to prove his innocence.
Yeah. Like fingerprints, anything. I guess, I don't know, was DNA real big in the 90s?
I think you'd have had some stuff like that, right?
Ask OJ.
I would think. Yeah, ask OJ.
Because they were doing that stuff with the OJ trial, I think.
Yeah.
So
I just think, that's definitely a lot to assume, just from a clown costume.
I'm just saying, there's got to be security cam footage or something.
Right.
Like, this guy's not even wearing the same clown costume as me. Yeah.
Right.
What do we think of the car? What's your favorite part of the car?
Ooh.
I like the Macho Man singing, just because I think it's super cute and fun. Mm-hmm. And I think every girl wants to sing Macho Man in the car with her man.
Her captor.
Yeah.
Right. I guess I'll be the first to say it. Best sex scene ever in a movie.
Whoa.
In the car. Flying through the clouds.
Yeah. Is there another sex
transported
scene in a movie that takes place in a moving vehicle and involves the people that are driving? I can't think of a single another one.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Do more research, Maggie.
Not even in Fast and Furious. I don't think so.
I would say, though, the stuff in the car, even as like good and lighthearted, and there's some parts that I like. I kind of like him going like, Ari, I told you never to call me here, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the car stuff might be the weakest part of the movie. Whenever I was watching it, the car part would be the only time where, for almost a split second, I might go like, this is getting a little corny or something.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it almost seemed like the director could feel that happening too. And then he was immediately like, let's jump out of the car and go to the cops, or let's jump out of the car and go to one of the reporters.
So
they're never in the car for more than like a minute or two. And then it's somewhere else again.
Because those two people in the car are the only two normal people. Everyone else surrounding them in this situation, they're, again, a parody of what they are, and they're hilarious. They're building them up to be this mastermind captor, and it's like, no, just a normal guy calm down. So I think they had to play the, at first it was awkward of them getting to know each other, so on and so forth. But I mean, they are the normal people in this movie. Everything else is just exaggerated.
Right.
They're almost not necessary. Well, not that they're not necessary, but they're almost the MacGuffin.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're almost just there to drive the plot forward. It's almost like the movie wants to really talk about what's going on around them.
Yes.
They just need to be in the cars for somebody to chase.
Yeah. That's
You know
exactly
what I mean?
it.
Yeah. And it doesn't hurt if you like them and they're kind of likable. But other than that, it's like, I think the movie is really actually concerned with everything else besides them.
So there are two different stories. It's them falling in love and, oh my gosh, this crazy mastermind, military training sniper, crazy driver guy has kidnapped a rich girl,
Right.
So both sides of the story are different stories.
Yeah. I think the director, though, in the end, when he wrote and directed this, I think he wanted to talk about the media and sort of the frenzy of this whole thing. I'm not sure he wanted to tell a love story. I don't think he
Right.
woke up and was like, I got to tell this story about Jack and Natalie.
Exactly.
It's been killing me. I've had this story in my head for years. I got to get it on paper. I think it was more like, I need Jack and Natalie to be in a car so that the media will chase them. And that's
twist
what I
it.
really want to talk about.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think it shows because I think all of the rest of it is much more interesting. I think they're actually the least interesting part of the movie.
Well, my favorite part about the car is, I don't know if this counts, but the cops that are chasing them.
I think they're the MVPs of the movie. They're my favorite part.
They are the best.
I agree.
Okay. We'll go. I guess a lot of the dialogue was improvised by Henry Rollins and whatever his name is, Josh Mostel.
I did read that.
That's pretty impressive.
And they're hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So who wants to talk about the cops? What do we got?
I'll take it. I love the fact that they're in the middle of being filmed for, I believe the show is called The Fuzz.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a cops ripoff show, but it wasn't just the cops. It was the camera guy and mostly the producer / director. I don't know how you want to refer to him in terms of production, but
He's perfect.
yeah, he is so perfect because
actor's
he's so
perfect.
selfish about saying, get that shot, roll on this.
Doesn't he
And-
call the cameraman an insignificant nothing?
Nothing, he calls him, because he needs to change the microphones for some reason. Maybe
Yeah,
he ran out
exactly.
of battery. I don't know.
There's
But
something with the mic. Yeah.
It's the cop in the driver's seat that is like the best of all of the cops.
Henry Rollins.
Yeah,
Oh,
Henry
yeah.
Rollins just killed it. Like, first of all, he looks the part, exactly the part. And his attitude about he knows he's being filmed and
Yeah.
he's really hamming it up for the camera. And that's just fantastic. I love that whole, like, he's like really playing it up. And then his partner is kind of like the other side. And he's like, well, no, we haven't been on a chase this long.
See, I
it's
don't
the
think-
best between those guys.
No, see, I think the other guy, he just has a sort of a different personality type, but he's also hamming it up just in a different way. Henry Rollins is
Yeah.
all muscle and bravado. And then he's sitting there like philosophizing and things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just sitting there talking about, I got a kid that wants to be an astronaut. I'd like to keep it that way. Like nobody talks like that.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? He's just saying whatever he thinks will sound profound to the camera.
right.
And it sounds so stupid.
Well, I also think just an assumption. I think Henry Rollins' character is probably like new kind of rookie on the force, and then the other guys just
Well,
been
he's
there
not.
for
They've
years.
been
and
partners
years.
for 6.5 years.
Yeah.
They have. You're right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
We've been doing this for 6 years now, right? 6.5. 6.5.
He's a seasoned veteran, and this is his time for recognition.
There's a little bit of Dale Dobeck in them too.
Sure.
The way they sort of like the especially like 6 years, 6.5, 6.5.
Yeah, yeah.
Like who, you know what I mean?
you gotta
Like,
get that half in.
like when a 12-year-old, has to like get that little tiny bit more in there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, have you ever been on a chase this long? Oh, we go on chases all the time.
All the time.
Well, not this long. Well, no, not this. Right.
Right.
But I think the cops are absolutely perfect. I think they're the MVPs of this movie.
Yeah, his reactions are always over the top. Like he'll start the car will start swerving for unknown reasons at this point in time, and he just like he knows the camera's right over his shoulder. So why is this guy swerving so much? And the cinematography in this entire movie just consists of like snap zooms and people screaming obscenities into the lens.
Right.
It goes a little much. Like some of the car chases are just, I mean, it's almost borderline. It verges on too much. Just quick cuts, quick zooms, pans, and I think a couple of times when you actually can see the cars moving, you can tell they're not going that fast.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
There is one shot where it's perfectly like choreographed. One car goes this way, then the next goes that way, then that one. You're just like, oh, this is all planned, like obviously, but you know.
Right.
Uh-huh. But they're absolutely fantastic. They have all the best lines, I think, in the movie. And so it's really impressive that they're actually just, improvising. I love when they finally have him at the end. I don't know either one of their names, but not Henry Rollins, the other guy. Mm-hmm. When they've pulled his cigarettes out and he he grabs the cigarette. What do we got here? And then it's just cigarettes. He's so bummed. You know what I mean?
He's talking trash.
Yeah.
I also like the part where Natalie Voss has the guy at gunpoint. And he's like, no, he's confusing you. He's confused. It's all very confusing.
You're confused. Yeah, he's confused you. It's very confusing.
But at the same time, the reporter's like, are you getting a shot of this? There's a gun pointed to his head.
Right.
He's concerned about the shot.
Uh-huh.
As would I.
Yeah.
Right. And then you've got, the other thing that struck me is whenever the cops who are back at the station are watching on like the little computer, like why don't they just watch it on the TV? It's on every station. Why are they watching it on this little handheld thing?
About the station, that cop, I don't know like what rank he was, but the guy who initially reports the car chase to the chief, what a nerd.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's going on there when that happens too? Because when he goes to tell the chief something, the chief is like riding a bike. There's a female cop sitting next to him bawling, and all you hear him say is something to the effect of, I don't run my precinct on a shoot first, ask questions later basis or something. And this lady is like bawling throughout the whole scene.
What did this woman do? Like,
I just want to know what is happening there.
Yeah.
I can't figure it out.
But I just love the nerd cop, I don't know his name, he had an immediate answer for everything the chief was like shouting at him, like, where's the chopper? You let the film crew rent it out.
Right.
Well, get it back. You approved it, sir.
Yeah.
He's like way over the top.
Yeah. And I love that Dalton Voss can just come waltzing in there and start ordering everyone around. It's just he's super rich, so
the police chief doesn't. He's just like, yes, whatever you say.
Yeah.
And I also love Dalton Voss's wife walking through the station, just sort of going like, "Why is it so dirty in here? What's that
smell like?
What's that stink?" Yeah, it's like it's a cop.
That's his second wife,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. The other big part of this, and I think is probably the aspect of the movie that perhaps Rifkin really wanted to talk about the most, is the media, because they are sort of what's really driving the whole thing. Yeah, they are really sensationalizing everything and blowing it out of proportion. I absolutely love that it takes them all of about 5 seconds to start producing terror on the freeway graphics. And
that was the best graphic.
Yes.
Yeah, nightmare
and high quality
at 100 miles
news
per
set
hour.
was ridiculous.
Which
like
one?
The background of that station's news like network, it was this like scary guy with like bloodshot eyeballs or something like that. It was supposed to be like, this is like the action news, parody.
And they actually look like they could be newscasters today. Even their styles didn't go like, even the blonde lady's hairstyle.
There's no way that would fly today.
Old. No, I think it totally would. I guarantee you that lady is on TV right now.
Look it up.
Got the voluminous hair and everything. And
yeah. Yeah.
You need volume to be on the news.
Some of that hair needs to stay back in the 90s.
Uh-huh.
I think that was a byproduct of the 80s. That's what she was rocking.
Was that
Yeah.
the Rachel?
No.
I thought about getting the Rachel because nobody has it now.
Don't do
Totally
what?
do.
Bringing it back.
I'm bringing it back. I'd be like totally unique.
You get that? I'll get the Caesar that George Clooney was rocking in the 90s.
Yes.
We'll be there.
Steve will get the bowl cut.
Aw.
Aw.
The bowl cut.
No, that was cool. The boy bands did it. Anyway,
JC had it.
JC had it.
Yeah. Shazay, whatever his name. I don't know.
Nick Carter. Mhm.
He's still got it, I think.
Shout out to Nick Carter.
He might
Totally
still be
Representing
rocking
bowl
that.
cup.
Mm,
Yeah.
Nick Carter.
So what do we got to say about the media?
They're doing their job.
Yeah.
They're getting
They're
eyeballs
trying.
on the screens. That's
Yeah.
all they're there for.
They're real passionate about what they're doing, and it makes things a little overboard, I guess
Yeah.
you would say.
I also love the one anchor person who's talking to the helicopter camera guy saying, do you think you could get a shot inside the car a little bit closer so we could see maybe if she's tied up or otherwise restrained? And then the camera guy's got to be like, well, no,
I'm in a helicopter.
I'm in a helicopter. Yeah.
At this
get
angle,
closer.
I
Sorry,
don't
guys.
really think that we'll be able to.
They're so
Then
like,
the lady anchor's like, well, there's a scared little girl in that car.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No, they're about to hook up. Like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, just all of the assumptions that they're making throughout the whole thing. Like, he accidentally like shoots a tire out at some point, and they're like, he's an expert marksman.
Now he's
Like,
trained.
no.
He's a Marine. Right.
That's the second tire he shot.
Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh. The guys who like drive the monster truck, they must be undercover cops.
Right.
They're
Right.
yeah, everything they fly way off the handle and start going on. It's totally true to life.
That hanging on the side of the van, and just like they're clipped into the van, and they're about to do the interview with Natalie Voss
Yeah.
on the freaking freeway.
Well, that guy was looking for an Emmy, straight up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
No, yeah. Do you think that news stations would actually do something like that?
Oh
In a
yes.
car chase? Do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't doubt
Back
it for a
then,
second. Yeah.
You're going to make news history by doing that. So, yeah, you're going to get the harness
Yeah.
slapped on you.
They would do it now. I don't think
Ah.
I think all of that media stuff, it except that they don't have social media stuff going on. I think all of the stuff with the media is totally true.
Yeah.
Holds up perfectly. And then we've got the public. The public's not in it much, but obviously the public is what's fueling the media frenzy, because the
Mhm.
public is going to want to see all of this. You know what I mean? And we still do that to this day.
It's all about ratings.
But I mean, you've got like the people who are hanging the signs on the overpasses, supporting Natalie, and then obviously the crazy rednecks, Flea and Anthony Kiedis,
Right.
who are gonna like, their whole thing is let's get on TV. So they're gonna
Right.
ram the car,
At
and
one point they say like the police can't do their job right, or something to that effect.
knows?
Like, we
Yeah.
have to take care of this. Like,
yeah. But
Well,
that's
the end game is to get on Oprah. Let's just get that
Right.
straight.
Yes.
and Geraldo,
And Geraldo.
yeah, and Sally Jesse, and
Yep.
you can find
Larry
us
King.
at where can they like you can
Yeah, that
find
show
us.
too.
I can't
They
remember
did
where
not
they
think
say
this
they're going
plan
to be.
out at all.
No,
They just like, all right, we're just gonna ram them, and
they
probably
waited so
gonna kill
long, too.
Natalie if you do that. Yeah.
They were so prepared, and they had it all planned out. Great plan if you want to stop them. But then when the time came, they're missed them. Let's try again. So they're weaving in and out of traffic.
They almost hit the cops a bunch of times. And then don't they get arrested?
Yeah, they
got arrested.
Yeah.
As soon as they say they want to go on Oprah and all the other shows, they just go and get arrested.
One of my favorite things is when the lady is interviewing them, like as they're getting arrested.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's like, we are here with the drivers of that
Monster van.
monster, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the dude immediately he says monster truck. And then she goes monster truck. And she, without missing a beat, she just keeps
Right.
interviewing them. You know what I
Yep.
mean? We are here with the drivers of the monster van who have just done the monster truck, who have just been didn't matter. She's just going full, just full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's about it. So let's do. I have a question. I have some questions.
Okay.
How, if we did do this movie, if this movie took place today, would it be much different?
I don't think so. The only thing that would change is maybe like freelancers or something. You'd see like a bunch of drones out there, or you'd see people speeding along with the
people with cell phones.
The thing. Yeah,
there would
cell
be
phones.
footage.
Everyone would be on Facebook Live.
Yeah, you wouldn't have a car phone. You just have your cell phone. There would be more coverage, if anything, on the news.
Yeah.
All over social media.
Live tweeting.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of stupid, but yeah, I probably would have said something if I was in the movie. It's whenever they're down looking at the security camera footage to identify Jackson. And of course they do the whole, like, let's see if I can enhance it.
Enhance.
And they do. Yeah.
Enhance.
And it turns out to be like this 4K image
Yeah.
from an old VHS
like,
tape that's been used over and over.
Yeah.
It's like grainy when it's small, and then they blow it up, and it's just like, oh.
It's a perfect shot.
Course. Yeah.
But then they say it's Jackson Hammond. We got word that he could be headed this way yesterday or something like that. And Dalton Voss, of course, is like losing his mind. You guys knew that this guy was coming here. Why? And you didn't do anything. And the police chief says, well, we heard he could be coming this way. He could have been going anywhere. We're not mind readers. And then Dalton Voss says, well, I am a mind reader. And I see that in the future, you're going to be looking for a new job. Yeah. And I immediately was like, well, that's not mind reading, Dalton. That's a totally different power.
Right.
I just don't
seeing
think
in the
Yeah.
Also cool, but I was just like, I wish the police chief or maybe the nerdy guy should have said it. Should have just been like,
not
well, actually,
mind reading, sir.
Yeah, exactly. And then Dalton just punches him.
Yes.
Exactly. The movie has a pretty awesome soundtrack, and I'm going to go on like a little tangent here for just a second. Okay. Most of the soundtrack is punk songs. There's some Rollins band stuff on there.
It is a song during the credits, I think.
That's that's Henry Rollins. I can't remember what it's called, but that's one of them. But this song or this movie sort of had a big outsized impact on my life because of the one song when Jack is imagining having the confrontation with the cops. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the fake standoff.
That whole scene is unlike anything else that happens in the movie. You know what I mean? It totally gets your attention. Mm-hmm. What did you think of that scene, Steve?
I didn't believe it when I was seeing it. I had a feeling that this is like him running down scenarios. So when he snaps back out of it, I thought, all right, now is this him going into another scenario or is this really happening? But when he like did the fake raising of the finger gun, I thought that's not really his MO at all. So I don't think this is really happening. I kind of caught on sooner than maybe someone in 1994 would have caught on.
Yeah, I didn't get that at all because I before I watched it again, I thought that's how the movie ended. Because I totally just like must have blacked out the last, like minute of the movie where it doesn't actually happen.
Yeah.
So I actually thought it ended like that. I was like, best death scene ever. And they're like, no, what are you talking about?
No, he doesn't die.
Yeah.
It'd be a totally different movie if he died right there.
Oh, yeah.
I would be disappointed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just spent an hour and a half watching this guy, and he didn't even make it.
My favorite part of that, and the part that I remember as soon as I saw it, I rented this on VHS with my two sisters when it came out. So it would have been in 94. So I'd have been like 13. I immediately, as soon as that scene happened, I was just going, what is this song? And I had to figure out who that band was. So anyway, the song is The Next Life, which is the last song on a band from England's debut album. They are called Suede. The album is also called Suede. And this movie sort of changed my life because they ended up becoming one of my all-time favorite bands, especially their second album, Dog Man Star. So if it were not for The Chase, I probably would have never found this band and could have missed out on some of my favorite music of all time. Just so that you know I'm not crazy. All right. So Dogman Star, which I believe also came out in 1994. I think it also came out in 1994. The album that this song is on, I think came out the year before. So it was a fairly new song when it made its appearance in this movie. But Dogman Star, NME has it at number 31 on its list of 500 greatest albums of all time.
Wow.
Guardian has it listed as one of the 1,000 albums you need to hear before you die. And I would agree. And then just something that's like a little bit interesting, I think, is when they re-released the album a few years back for one of the anniversaries, the lead singer, Brett Anderson, in the liner notes talks about some of the changes he would make to the album. And he recommends swapping out The Power for My Dark Star and Black or Blue for The Living Dead, both of which are on Sci-Fi Lullabies, their B-side compilation, which is as good an album as any album ever. And I happen to think that if you do swap out those songs, it's really the only way to make the album better, because it was pretty much a perfect album anyway. So if you're a fan of Dogman Star, there is a whole new way to experience it. It's actually the only way I think you can make the album any better. But the song that is in the movie is not on that album. It's on the previous one, their debut. Also excellent. I just like Dogman Star better.
I gotta say, I've never heard of
I know
Suede.
you guys don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
But I'll now that I know about them, I'll have to listen to the album.
In America, they had to be called the London Suede because there was some other band that already called themselves Suede who nobody's ever heard of. It was like, yeah, you know what I mean? It was like totally stupid. Like if you were, Pink Floyd, but some other band named Pink Floyd already existed and they sued you, so you couldn't use that name. So you had to modify it somehow. And everyone else is going, who the hell's Pink Floyd? You know what I mean? Like, they're Pink Floyd. We're like, no, right. We're Pink Floyd. It's like, no, you're not.
We're American Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. I never heard of the actual Suede band. There's only one Suede. Yeah. But I have it if you guys ever want to borrow it. Fantastic album. Yeah. All about drug use and and hating yourself. It's a great album. It's a great.
Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, for your teenage years, if you're like an introverted teenager, it's for you. It's like the Smiths and the Cure, but more depressed. You know what I mean?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, like a glamorous, drug addicted the Smiths. Yeah, like if Morrissey was a heroin addict and a better singer. Yeah.
Well, that song at the end of the movie doesn't sound like that at all, I would say. It's very angelic and heavenly and kind of
yeah.
And you got everybody's screaming, but you don't hear anything but that song, and just everything's in slow motion, and yeah. I don't get that feel from what you described.
Well, that's just one song. You know what I mean?
Right,
and that's off their debut album too. Their debut album is much more
stuff.
it's more of a glam rock album. The Dogman Star is the one where the two guys who wrote the music started really hating each other. The lead singer was basically just a heroin addict who was starting to lose his stuff. You know what I mean? And so all of the songs he writes are sort of about being on tour and hooking up with prostitutes and having his latest fling steal all of his money for heroin. And yeah. Oh, it's good stuff.
Sounds like a good time.
Oh, it's great stuff. Yeah. So what other thoughts do we have on The Chase? Any closing thoughts?
I'm glad they made it. Not to be like rooting for a criminal, but he's not really a criminal. But
he's not a criminal.
I was pulling him for him the whole time because the odds were stacked against him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of suspense in the movie. Like, I don't think at any point in time I was, really like hanging onto my seat wondering what was going to happen. It's just more, it's just a fun movie.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed it. It's one of my, favorite movies, I guess. Not like, I wouldn't say favorite, but it's one that I really, really enjoy. And if I see it on TV or see it somewhere, I'm gonna click it and watch it again.
It's extremely easy to watch
Yeah.
Yeah.
because it goes so fast. It's really all just one thing. So it's not even like one of those movies where you go, oh, well, this part's coming up and I don't care about that part. For the most part, this movie is just a combination of 3 different interiors, and they're all
Right.
just jumping back and forth. It never stays anywhere for more than like 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
So
it all takes place in like 8 hours, if
Yeah.
that.
But I
Yeah.
just mean, you like the cops, you like seeing the media stuff, you like the 2 main characters, and it's just, here's the 2 main characters for a minute. Here's the cops for 1 minute. Here's the media for a minute. Back to the cops for a minute. Here's the character, and it just does that the entire time.
Mhm.
So no matter where you're at in the movie, you're kind of, as soon as if it comes on TV, you kind of go, oh, I love this part.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And there are so many of those parts.
Well, that's the whole, the first 5 minutes is pretty much indistinguishable from the last 5 minutes almost.
Yeah.
It's all just the same thing, and it's so easy to watch that I think it's one of the easiest movies to watch.
I will say that the one thing I didn't see coming was at the end is where so Charlie Sheen puts that gun in her purse before she gets pulled out of the car. I didn't think she had the guts to pull a gun on anyone. So for
Right.
her to like be all in on this plan, I didn't see that coming. I thought that was awesome. And she even held a gun to the helicopter pilot's head to say, back in, buddy, we're going.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that they sit on that beach for about a week, and then she goes, what the hell am I doing?
She snaps
Yeah.
out of it.
He looks ridiculous in this stupid mustache. We can't hide here forever. We need money. Do you know
Daddy,
what I
I'm
mean?
coming home.
Yeah. You know what
Well,
I'm saying?
that's just it too. That's not a bad plan. If you're her, you can always just ask for more money, and you can just always egg your dad on and be like, "Look, if you give me more, maybe I'll come home."
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure that he would want her to come home.
I feel like he would keep funding her constantly in Mexico.
I think
They
he
just
wasn't
keep
he running
spending the
for
money.
public office or something, governor
He
of
wanted to be
California.
governor or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, he needs good press. He needs his baby girl to come home, and he's willing
Right.
to pay anything more than $15,000.
So what's Jack do then? If she comes, you know what I mean?
Or he's rich. Maybe he got like the president to like pardon Jack or some. I don't know.
Yeah, pull some strings.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't know if they end up sitting on that beach for
It's
the
just
rest of
like-
their lives.
Well,
Yeah,
he's got a
the
good
beach in
backup career.
Mexico
He
or-
can always go back to clowning. That's a solid plan.
Yeah.
Clowning
Yeah.
is
What is
recession
he
proof.
gonna do? Like what?
Quinceañeras, you know.
Yeah. Like what skills does he have? Is she marrying him? Is that where they're gonna go from here? Like
Sequel. Let's have a sequel.
sequel? Yes.
Charlie Sheen, if you're
Call up
listening.
Charlie Sheen,
Write
Yeah.
it.
Kristy Swanson.
Uh-huh.
Get them both.
We'll all be consultants for the next movie.
Yes.
I want to be one of the cops. Steve, you and I could be
Yes.
cops.
Yes, let's be
Yes.
cops.
We'll be the cops.
Maggie
be
can be an
great.
anchor.
I'll be an anchor.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be great. I'm excited for that.
Or maybe Maggie should be captured.
Yeah,
Yes.
You
Let's
could be
put
the
you to
love
the test,
interest.
Maggie.
Yeah.
You could fall in love or not.
I
You
would
say-
go
you-
fall in
You
love
say
with-
it's so far fetched. You'd probably fall in love.
Yeah, we could
Oh,
get Charlie
it
Sheen to
could totally
reprise the
happen.
role. You could be the new kidnap.
Yes.
Yeah, Charlie Sheen hasn't aged a bit, according to you.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like now, if you look at a really recent picture, but I just mean like he does not look 28 in this movie. And
I think
does
he has
not look-
AIDS now, so you might want to.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with that.
Oh well, come on.
Well, we could recast.
Right? Doesn't he? I'm pretty sure that's
No,
true.
he totally does. Yeah.
Okay, he
So
totally has
if we
AIDS.
can-
Totally does.
He totally does.
Yeah,
So
but
we
I
I
can
know he
go
has
back-
AIDS because
We could go back in time before he had AIDS and bring him back, and then no, we just have to recast him. And then
You just
and
want to
then
reenact
definitely-
the car scene.
Yes, yes.
You want to put it to the test.
It's exciting. I think that would
can't see
be
the road.
incredibly difficult to do.
I will say,
Just saying.
as soon as they started hooking up, they played it exactly how it was supposed to go in the real world. her butt's beeping the horn, and Charlie Sheen flipped on the windshield wipers, and he can't see anything. It's a really awkward start, but then you get teleported to this magical land of beautiful sky, and there's no cops behind him suddenly. Like, if you look out the back of the window, there's no cops back there anymore.
You let's
You've
go
been
of the
teleported
wheel.
into this
You just
love-making.
There's no way it's possible. There's just
No.
not. No.
No. Well, I mean,
I'm sure it's been done, though. I mean, come on.
Going
There's some creative people out there.
80 down the freeway, like, I think you're definitely going to crash. And he's like all over the road.
Yeah.
Why is he swerving?
It's both the most ridiculous sex scene I've ever seen and also like the tamest. They basically just
Right.
make
Sure.
out forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's
Make out forever.
it wouldn't have really fit if all of a sudden it was this raw sex scene.
Right. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it wouldn't.
It's almost played for laughs.
It's
Yeah.
got to
Do
be
you know
like,
what I mean?
oh
It's
yeah,
totally
oh,
like,
yeah.
oh my goodness.
Had
Yeah.
they done a legit sex scene, I think it would have done a lot better in theaters.
Probably.
That's
yeah.
true. Everybody would know about it.
That's true.
One of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah, that would have put it up there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We
Oh,
wouldn't be
man.
talking about it today because it is better than you remember.
Yeah,
Yes,
everyone
we already
would be
know
like,
this.
I know exactly what movie you're talking about. The one where Kristy Swanson gets naked in the car on,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Going 80 down the freeway.
Yeah. Become one of those things that you every young man gets on his 16th birthday.
Yeah.
Here you go, son. It's my copy of The Chase. You're a man now.
You're a man now.
I want
Watch
you to have this. Yeah. What the hell's the matter with me? So if you're out there and you haven't seen The Chase, highly recommended. Great hour and a half. Super fun movie.
It's on, what do they call it? Amazon Prime Videos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As of this
Free on
recording, that's where I watched it because it was free.
Yeah.
And, I enjoyed it. So if you've got Amazon Prime, take advantage of that and watch it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thank you, Steve. Thank you, Maggie. It's been fun.
you.
I think, what are we going to do next? We're going to maybe work on some Halloween
I think so.
videos. So
Yeah.
I think maybe
Yeah.
we're
We've
going to
got
have
some
some of
ideas
those
floating
coming up.
around for Halloween.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, and then you wanted to do a James Bond like marathon.
For the new James Bond movie.
Yeah, that's coming up
Yeah,
in November.
'Cause I love James Bond.
Yeah,
Right.
so we'll do some Halloween and then we'll do some James Bond.
Mm-hmm. You know who's in the new James Bond movie, Steve?
Who's in the new James Bond movie?
Ana de Armas.
I don't know who that is.
We were just talking about her. She's from Blade Runner 2049.
I haven't seen that movie.
I know, but the girl that we were just talking about an hour
Yes.
ago,
Yes.
she's also in the new James Bond movie.
Well, it looks like we're going to have to watch both of those movies.
Yeah, I'm going to see. Well, I've already seen Blade Runner 2049 because I watch good movies.
Well, that's what I'm here for. I have to be on this podcast to learn about this stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
This is work.
Okay. So anyway, if you have any recommendations for something that you think is better than you remember,
We
or
remember, yeah.
better than we remember, Steve doesn't remember it because he hasn't seen anything.
Exactly. I need
Yeah,
your help.
if it's don't bother with Marvel movies or Star Wars movies. He's seen all of those
Seen them all.
many
Love 'em all.
times. Yeah, you can tell him to watch Blade Runner 2049, and he'll watch Revenge of the Sith for the 55th time.
I watched it this past weekend, dude, and it was great.
Oh my, you did?
I did. I actually did.
Oh my god,
I did. Only because I wanted to watch Rogue One.
So if you enjoyed the podcast, be sure to subscribe to the Better Than You Remember podcast. We are on Spotify, we are on Google, we are on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, whatever it's called now. You can see some of the video versions of these on our YouTube channel. Just go to our YouTube channel, select the playlist Better Than You Remember, and be sure to subscribe. Click the little bell for notifications if you enjoyed. Thank you very much.
All the podcasts and videos, I believe the videos are on afterhoursyoungstown.com, and all the podcasts are on businessjournaldaily.com, so you can check them out there as well.
Yeah, we're everywhere. Mhm.
They're everywhere.
Mhm.
You can't hide.
One of us.
Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. See you
All right.
later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.